Warren County Commission to order. We'll now turn it over to Mr. Carl Bolden for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doing our invocation tonight will be Mr. Bob Harris. He resides in District 5. He is retired from the Air Force. He was an Air Force veteran, and he's also a retired school teacher. Mr. Harris.
I guess this is mine. Holy God, we just thank you so much for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you, Lord, for your word that reveals to us that you care about everything that goes on in our lives. And Lord, your word says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who rewardeth liberally and upbraideth not. God, I'm praying tonight that every man and woman that has business in this place tonight would use wisdom, divine wisdom, in every consideration that's made, in everything that comes up for a decision, God, that your will would be accomplished in it, your perfect will. I ask God a special blessing upon every commissioner and those that are in authority here, especially District 5. And I ask God that you bless this meeting, that everything said and done would be pleasing to you and part of your plan for this part of this county. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
I'll now call on Mr. Kenny Moffitt for the pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce Mr. Ken Martin. He lives in District 3. He's an active member of the Senior Center. He's also a 4-time elected county commissioner and served for 15 and a half years on this very commission. So, Mr. Martin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
21 present.
We have 21 commissioners present here tonight. We'll move on to the adoption of our docket. Got a motion, Mr. Bell. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Dodson to approve our docket for tonight. If there's no additions or corrections to the docket, all those in favor of approving our docket tonight, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, passes unanimously. If anyone's here and wants to sign up for public comment, see Mr. Hillis, and we'll go on through our reports. We'll now move on to the reading of the minutes.
Motion to Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve and dispense from Mr. Helton, a second from Mr. Savage. If there's no addition or corrections to the minutes, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. We'll move on to our elected official departmental reports. Our agriculture extension, Mr. Hicks Note.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have my report. Would be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
We got a motion, Mr. Prater. Second by Mr. Carl Bolden. Yes.
I did have one thing. Miss Hilda is retiring, and I wanted to mention that. And when's her last day?
The end of the month.
We were going to acknowledge her, so I'll get that through there for you. That's all right. All those in favor of approving the report, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Ms. Hilda, if you'd come forward, we'd love to congratulate you on your retirement. If you wasn't here. just so proud that we were able to work with you, and you've done an amazing job for Warren County.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate working with you all.
Now we'll move on to Mark Lytle, our Veteran Service Officer.
Yeah, she definitely runs me, but ladies and gentlemen, you have my report. Are there any questions I can answer for you?
A motion, Mr. Savage, a second by Mr. Stout. Any questions for our Veteran Service report?
I was looking over it, and I didn't realize there were so many veterans in the county, and you're helping a lot of them, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks so much. Our kind of my goal is to get as many of them in the system as we can, and we're getting there. I think we've probably added, I don't know, 70 or 80 since January of 22. And for those numbers, you guys can see them, but 885 of the 2,300 are actually in the system. But if you know one, send them to me. I'll get them put in.
Very appreciate it. All in favor of approving the report, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We'll move on to Mr. Jim Dyer, the airport report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. You have my report. May I answer any questions?
We got a motion by Mr. Bowman, a second by Mr. Hillis. Any questions?
Would you like to make an announcement about the breakfast this Saturday this morning?
Excellent idea, sir, yes. The Experimental Aircraft Association chapter serves breakfast every third Saturday of the month, and that's this coming Saturday. It's a fly-in, so you'll get to see lots of airplanes from different parts of the mid-state, probably. 7:30, and they stop serving at 10. Come join us.
Anything else? All those in favor of approving the report, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to the codes environmental. Mr. Cole Miller.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, you got my reports. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them at this time.
Motion by Mr. Savage. Second by Mr. Moffitt. Any questions for Mr. Miller? Being none, all
Mr.
those
Miller, I do have one. Is the new help we've got now, is that taking a load off of you?
Yeah, we're kind of in the transition still, but it's already helped tremendously. You know, it's hard to just get it out there that, hey, you know, she's doing this part now. But we're telling them as they come, and it's been great to have the office open to get permits anytime you want to come in during business hours, instead of, you know, you come in and you're turned away because my door's shut because I'm doing inspections. So I think it's a huge benefit to the taxpayer and all the contractors out there.
Ben, you mentioned that, Tommy. I want to introduce everybody. Miss Emily Woodley would stand up. You'll be seeing her in the county executive's office. She's helping us now, doing a great job. We appreciate you. All those in favor of approving Cole's report, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? That's unanimous. We'll move on to EMA. Mr. Jim Cunningham.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, you have my report, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Motion to approve.
Got a motion, Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Stout. Any questions for Mr. Cunningham? Being none, all those in favor of approving the report, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Pass unanimously.
Thank you.
Preston Dick, the EMS report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the court. You have a copy of our report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Motion approved. Got a motion by Mr. Lee and a second by Mr. Glenn. Any questions for Mr. Dick? Being none, all those in favor of approving the report, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Mr. Cotton, finance report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, you have my report. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them at this time.
Move to accept.
I got a motion, Mr. Ridley, a second by Mr. Hillis. All those in favor of approving the financial report, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll move on
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget Finance has nothing to report at this time.
Building ground,
Building grounds has nothing reported at this time.
economic and agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As it's been said, Ms. Hilda, served 40 years for Ag Extension, and several commissioners here have served on her committee, and they know that she's a bundle of energy and very active in her service. She'll be sorely missed, but, rumor has it she's gonna go to South Carolina to play with her grandbabies quite often, so. As long as she lets Mark stay here, I guess it'll be okay. Also, reminder of the airport, he said, they should be flying in. I think this is the first Saturday that they've had good weather so that they can fly in, so hopefully that'll be a bigger success. Thank you.
Education, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Education has nothing to report this time.
Under financial management, Mr. Tyler, you want to talk about our?
Yep.
Hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting this evening with financial management, and we've actually been talking about doing this for a couple months now. We're talking about signing on with Mrs. Christian Wire with Area Evac, offering it to all the county employees, something that the county will pay. Actually, we already have about 140 employees that already have it now. I did call to verify today because there was a question brought up that, well, if we already got it, it's kind of what's going to happen with that. We already paid for it ourselves. But we found out, I did find out and verify it, she can verify it too, that if you already have it, if say you did a 5-year, 2-year, whatever, forever how many years that we continue to do it, your years will roll over, so you will not lose your time, correct?
Yes.
You will not lose your time.
So, Maribel is a prime example of this. He bought a 10-year last year, so he does not lose that time that he has. And then if ever, especially if that's something you've already self-paid, the employee paid for it, if ever they leave the county, what they paid for goes with them. So it just basically tacks on.
And it also, it covers everyone inside who lives in your home for half the year.
No.
Half the time.
Yes. Okay. So coverage is. Let me stand up. Okay. Sorry. Coverage is anybody that's under the roof at least 50% of the time. It doesn't matter age, relation, insurance. It could be another parent living with you. It could be a grandparent raising grandchildren. It could be a roommate for that matter. If you happen to have college-age students living away from home, in school, full-time, up to the age of 26.
And we're looking at costing us about $75 per person. We're going to offer it to all the full-time and on part-time if you qualify for the clinic, which is I'm pretty sure 10 hours a week. We're going to offer to pay half of it, which is $37.50 a year, and you'll be responsible to pay the other $37.50. That's kind of how we always do our raises and our bonuses, and that's kind of the way we thought we'd do this. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wareham.
Health and welfare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our population right now is right at 80, which is really good considering where we've been before, so hopefully that trend will continue. We do have a Adopt One and Cruise In coming up next month, so as soon as we get the details on that, I'll share that with everyone. That's all we have at this time.
We've raised about $4,405 for the Spade Year Challenge that we've got. And of course, y'all will be moving some of that money to where we can actually start trying to use that in a program here tonight. And I will be meeting Wednesday morning with Dr. Young that's opening up the new veterinary clinic. He wants to have a meeting to discuss our veterinary services for the county. So that's just something to go with health and welfare.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could you ask Mr. Wilcher or yourself to give us an update on the health department?
We've not got any plans back yet. We're still in the design phase. And it'll probably be another month before we actually get the final plans back. That's where we're at. He's got the layout of it drawn out, but we don't have the final. I'm talking about we'll have the plans back to where we can actually go to bid it out.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just so that folks know that are watching, could you give an update on the animal control clinic or the animal control building? I know we've talked about it, but I think there's people that are interested that might want
Yes,
to?
we've got, right now, the architect is actually drawing up the floor plans and the roof. He's down to the mechanical part of it. He promised me within the next week or so, we would be getting, you would see it in the paper, going out for bids for the contractors to be able to bid on that. So if there's any contractors listening out there and you want to bid on it, be watching for it, we'd love to, for them to be bidding on that.
Thank you.
Anything else? If not, we'll move on to Highway and Bridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have nothing to report on, but I do have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Policy and personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met last Tuesday, the 10th, and we accepted reports from the Codes Department and the Judicial Commissioners, and that's all we have. Thank you.
Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, safety has nothing to report.
I will comment that the compactor, I think, worked great at the fire. I think Stephen will say that everybody was pleased with that. Worked out good and made it a lot cleaner.
Oh, yeah, and smell.
Yeah, it was a success. Correctional partnership.
Today's population in the jail is 292. Male is 221, female is 71. Department of Corrections is 11, 13 parole violations, and we are currently 41 over capacity. We obviously have some concerns there. We're hoping that the colder weather cools things off in more than one way. But we'll be looking at the numbers, obviously.
Who's the chairman, the vice chairman legislative?
Me.
Ms. Marlene Brown.
Hi. Well, on your counter is the updated rules regulating the procedures of the Warren County Legislative Body and that we voted on last meeting, and they've been printed out for you. And please take the time to go back through your folder and pull page 8 out and put page 8 in and put page 1 out and put page 1 in, because you really need to have an updated copy of this document. And the Legislative Committee doesn't plan to meet again unless another concern comes up, and that's all I have to report. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to public comments. Anybody sign up? No public comment tonight. We'll move on to new business. And the first item of business is approve the bond for Beth Martin, who is elected property assessor.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Dotson. Any question about approving the bond for Ms. Martin? This is done for all elected officials. If there's no questions, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith, Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote? 21 yes.
Item number 1, the bond passes 21-0. We'll move on to item number 2, elect chairman of the county commission.
Mr. Chairman,
I'll put the floor up for nomination.
I would nominate Terry Bell. Second.
I've got a second nomination for me and a second by Mr. Prater. Any more nominations for chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we elect by acclamation and close the floor.
Who said so moved? Mr. Prater, motion by Mr. Helton and a second by Mr. Prater. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3. We had a little trouble with our revise, which sends out our dockets. And you have a list of the committee assignments that's on your desk. The only change that's on that list is Mr. Chris Rippey will be going on education in the place of Mr. Cole Tyler. Is the only change in any of the committees.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the committee assignment list as presented.
Second.
I got a motion and a second by Mr. Rubley. Motion by Mr. Rubley, a second by Mr. Taylor. Any more discussion? Being none, all those in favor of approving the committee assignment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, passes unanimously. We'll move on to item number 4. We have to elect 4 members to the financial management group each year, 1st of September, and those terms are up. So I'll accept nominations. Chairman.
I make a motion that we keep the same 4 on that we've got.
We've got a nomination for the same 4, and a second by Mr. Savage. Any more nominations?
Can you tell us who those 4 are?
Mr. Cole Taylor, Brad Hillis, Scott Rubley, and Christy Ross. Any more nominations?
Make a motion, nomination cease, we elect by acclamation.
I got a motion, Mr. Bell, do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a second from Mr. Bolden. All those in favor of nomination cease, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Cotton, we will move on to number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an amendment that is to reallocate the payroll structure for the Warren County Animal Control and Adoption Center. Since the decision was made to not hire a to hire a director, this was to hire a supervisor instead of a director. We need to move the money out of the director's line item and put the money where it's going to reflect what's actually being staffed, which is 3 full-timers and with some money left over for part-time staff.
And we have 1 part-time on staff.
Yeah.
Got a motion from Mr.
Second.
Second, Mr. Rubley. Any questions about the amendment? If there's no questions, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith, Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change your vote? 21 yes.
Item number 5 passes 21 to 0. We'll move on to item number 6, GF 6 FY 24-25. Mr. Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an amendment to appropriate funds to start the spay and neuter program. $500 was collected specifically for the spay and neuter last year before the end of June. And as of the date of writing this amendment, we had collected $3,855 this year. And then Health and Welfare voted to allocate $5,000 of previously undesignated donations to go along with it, which will get us started with $93.55.
Got a motion from Mr. Wilson.
Second.
Got a second by Ms. Owens. Any question about the amendment? Being none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith, Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change your vote? 21 yes.
Item number 6 passes 21 to 0. We'll move on to item number 7, resolution 1424, which come through the Economic and Agriculture Committee. Mr. Carl Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution to make funds available as a matching contribution to the site development grant offered by the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development. It is a $100,000 grant, and it's a 2.5% match, which will be $2,500 for the county's part. And I'll ask Miss Wendy Sneed to give you a little information. She has some maps of the, at the meeting she hadn't figured out which site, but it's the Juniper property is what she's talking about. She has a little information. She can contribute more than I can.
So, as most of y'all are aware, that we did apply for the site development grant through the IDB. For the last time it was open, we were awarded that grant for $100,000 worth of due diligence, which we are contracted and working on now. So for this round, we are not allowed to apply for an additional grant, but the county would be allowed to apply for a grant on any public property owned. And so, as I advised Ag Econ, if there are any other properties in the future that the county own that they would like to do some type of site development look at, we are more than happy to work with y'all to do that. But on this project, we're looking at doing due diligence on the property located behind the spec building. We have applied for another grant in the past that we did not get, and so we're reapplying on it. But it would be on the property directly behind the spec building that goes all the way back through to Mountain View Industrial, because we believe if we can get all the due diligence right, we will probably possibly have 2 to 3 sites on that one piece of property to split up and then market individually. Of course, as we've said before, with everything going on with the large site in Manchester and Coffee County, we want to do as much as we can now to get those properties ready and the due diligence done so we know what can be developed and how quickly, in case we were to have any manufacturers or other businesses looking to come in and land here. I will say I've told them we have a lot of interest right now. We've had many prospects coming in, and most of those projects are currently on hold until after November. But just to let y'all know that we do have a lot of things that have been going, and we actually have some additional prospect visits this week.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got a second. Got a second, Mr. Rubin. Now, discussion.
Is there any prospects on the building, the spec building over at the Mountain View Park?
So of the prospects that we've been working with, we have 5 currently that are interested in the building.
You also have a pad across the road.
We have the pad across the road. We have 2 prospects that have interest in the pad across the road. We also have 3 additional prospects with interest in 2 other privately owned buildings. One in the county and one in the city of McMinnville. We're also working closely with the city of McMinnville to help, or not city of McMinnville, but with the Bolden family to help market their property, which was Apollo. And TVA and ECD are very much strategically targeting markets for us for that building, because they do have that ability. They have a lot more available water in the city. And so there's a certain amount of businesses that work well with that, namely food and beverage manufacturers. So we're trying to strategically locate, where we have the best assets.
Wendy, do you know where they're at on the sewer for the spec building?
I spoke with them. I reported last time they had finished everything. They were waiting on something from electrical. We were told that the bid would go in the paper the last week of August. But something had not come back on their electrical that they were putting in for the pump station.
Wendy, when you said several were waiting on the November, you said waiting for November, what percentage of all those numbers of people you just talked about?
Of the prospects?
Yes.
Most of them. 3 of the 5 that are interested in the spec building are on hold currently. We've talked to some other target market specialists, and depending on what the sector is, there's a lot of hold on some sectors as opposed to others. So it just depends on which sectors you're trying to target and bring in. Yeah, but it's been several.
Any more questions? If not, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell?
Yes.
Carl Bolden?
Yes.
Carleen Brown?
Yes.
Charles Dodson?
Yes.
Randy England?
Yes.
Steve Glenn?
Yes.
Stephen Helton?
Yes.
Brad Hillis?
Yes.
James Hines?
Yes.
Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Ron Lee?
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt?
Yes.
Casey Owens?
Yes.
Gary Prater?
Yes.
Chris Rippey?
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith, Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote? 21 yes.
Item number 7 passes 21-0. We'll move on to item number 8. I think this come through correctional partnership. Mr. Hale? The hacking contract.
I wish Jackie was here. He could explain a little bit more than I can. I don't remember the details on it, honestly. But I will make the motion to move forward with it.
All right, we got a motion. I got a second from Mr. Glenn. I will explain a little bit of TAC-in. The state has come in and putting in a TAC-in radio system on the towers at 911 and on the one at Harrison Ferry, and they're going to build a tower at Rock Island. And this will fix our 911 problem of not having coverage all over the county. TAC-in then will be, they're building one in Somerville also. They're making a statewide network. And to use their radios, we have to enter into a contract with them. And Jackie's done got some radios from them already. And this is so he can go ahead and be using some of those radios.
That will make every one of us service.
Yeah, it will. Anybody have any more questions?
Yeah.
Not, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith,
Yes.
Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote? 21 yes.
Item number 8 passes 21-0. We'll move on to item number 9, and I guess I'll let Mr. Poppy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a memo to reallocate funds previously allocated in the Capital Projects Fund 189, which is where the airport's restricted funds are being housed. We had previously entered into the ARC grant to build a hangar with those funds. We contributed our match, and since then it's been deemed economically infeasible to use federal grant money to build that building due to the regulations associated. So the Airport Commission, Econ and Ag have asked that we previously passed a motion to remove ourselves from the RC grant. This memo would allocate the remaining funds in that fund to be able to build that building locally, and it would be a smaller building.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve this pending the official release from the ARC, which we've not received yet.
A motion and a second by Mr. Hillis. Any questions about this? Being none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson, Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith,
Yes.
Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote? 21 yes.
Item number 9 passes 21-0. We'll move on to item number 10, medical examiner contract. And I think that come through safety.
Oh, really? Well, I want to ask my director of EMS to explain it to us. Thank you.
All right, well, President, if you'll come forward, these next 2 items, and we'll just ask you if you can explain kind of what's going on about the examiner and the medical director.
So 10's the medical director?
We're at the medical examiner first.
Okay. So the medical examiner currently that we have is Dr. Peterson. He has made some changes in some of his personal businesses and expanding those, and so we have been looking for a new one. Dr. Kirby is back in Warren County now. He's the medical director at NHC and at Willow Branch, and he's done this in the past for us some, and he's agreed to take this position over full-time. He would start on October the 1st. And like I said, we've worked with Dr. Kirby over the last few years, and he's familiar with the position, knows how to do everything, and he's willing to do it kind of under the same terms that we've been under with Dr. Peterson.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Bell, and a second by Mr. Engel. Any questions on the medical examiner contract? Let's do a roll call vote on that.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Donna Smith, Philip Stout, Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Item number 10 passes 21-0. Now we're to the medical director's contract. And
Okay,
I do have to announce one thing. When you're looking at this contract, we have got to change the date because it's a misprint in there under the term. It says that it will expire September the 30th of 2024. So that is a misprint. That will be changed.
The way that we've done the contracts previously would be a year, and it would just automatically renew itself unless one party or the other wanted to not renew. The medical director would be for the ambulance service. That has to be a physician. They approve what medical procedures that we can do, what medications we can carry, and so the state requires us to have one of those. Like I said, Dr. Peterson has done that as well, and Dr. Kirby has agreed to do that. Dr. Kirby has done this in the past for Warren County, so he is familiar with everything. And he was willing to take over October the 1st.
That motion, Mr. Just second it, and then we'll submit it. Who's second? All right, now.
To include the end date in 2025.
All right, you want to make an amendment to that? I got there a second. Got a second, Mr. Rowley. All in favor of amending the original contract to add, make it 2025, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Now we're back on the original contract, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Charles Dodson,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Stephen Helton.
Yes.
Brad Hillis,
Yes.
James Hines,
Yes.
Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Kenny Moffitt,
Yes.
Casey Owens.
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chris Rippey,
Yes.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Tommy Savage.
Yes.
Donna Smith. Philip Stout. Cole Taylor.
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Item number 11 passes 21-0. Now we're ready for the approval of notaries.
This is the list for the notaries. Natalie M. Davenport, Kyle Daniel Hallburton, Megan E. Kennedy, Reva Rowland, Katie Thrower, Rodney A. Wiles, Emily Stefanik, Vicki E. Mathis, Paula Stotts, Helen Mathias, and Beth Wanmaker.
Motion to approve. A motion, Mr. Taylor, a second by Mr. Moffitt. All those in approval of the notaries, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. we got the grant to do the sewer at the jail. That bid will be open tomorrow, so we're on schedule to award. We'll have a financial management meeting probably next week to award that after we have time to review it. And we've talked to Mr. Britton. Sometime next week, I'll probably get the final inspection on the fuel island. He sees no problem so far. Everything's looking good on that. Mr. Bradford's working on closing on the property next to the annex building that is involved. And of course, we're taking, hopefully we'll be getting bids shortly on the animal shelter building. Does anybody else have any more announcements? Yes.
I just want to compliment the sign that Bruce got on. I think it looks great, and the first day or two that it was operational, somebody was on Facebook and ever said, was anybody else distracted? And he used my daddy's analogy about that. I thought you would be griping about something if we fed you ice cream with a corn spoon. I love the sign. I think it looks great, and I enjoy the temperature and what the 3-day forecast gonna be.
Did you give them time too, Barry? We are starting to run some of our businesses that are on there. You'll see their advertisements on there.
But they're not completely done with the.
No,
facade.
it's not completely finished yet. They've got a little more to do on the top. And the
Yes, but it
sides.
looks so nice. I love it.
I think it'll be a good addition, Mr. Help.
So for the ones that don't know, the Warren County Fair is officially over. And I'm sure a report will come into Ag and Economic, but we did have some record numbers this year. We had some good weather. And one thing I failed to mention, and I hope every commissioner got to go out and see it, but we did use the command center and the drones, and they worked great for the fair and that application. But we did have record numbers this year, and we were very proud of that. Very proud of everybody that come out and seen a bunch of y'all working in some food booths too. So there you go.
I think we had a really successful fair. Anybody else have any